One of the things that I guess I kind of knew about you, but didn't know exactly what you did, is that you worked at Facebook for a while.
Yeah, just for a year.
Oh, was
Yeah,
this a year?
a little over a year, I think. A year and 1 month or 2 months.
Yeah, how was that? You were saying that what was your story about Zuckerberg having you have like solutions for problems? Do
Oh
you know
yeah.
that?
Well, a lot of the things I worked on at Facebook, I was in a group initially called the Communication Design Group, ComD, and we were tasked with trying to find ways of expressing what Facebook stands for in some kind of humanistic terms, and translating all this tech into something that has a feeling.
Hmm.
And feelings weren't really not a strong suit for Mark
Yeah.
or, or Facebook as an entity. Um, but yeah, what I worked on, my team, the team that I was on, we had access to data that told us that people were moving into smaller and smaller circles of influence. They were speaking to fewer people. They were sharing fewer ideas outside their own groups, being exposed to fewer media outlets, and that creates like these echo chambers. And if these chambers split off, you can wind up in dual realities. So I worked on a project where it was an opposite button, and you would press the button and it would repopulate your news feed to show you the news and stories of the people that you were still linked with in your life, but that you had the least ideologically in common with. And we presented it to him, and he said, "You have amazing solutions to problems I don't have." And I
But
was like, "Did you just fire me via a riddle? Like what the hell was that?" You
yeah,
know?
but it's just like I think that would have helped. I think a lot of the issues we've seen, especially through social media, is that we don't have anything like that.
Yeah, I think that if you invite 1 billion people or more to come into a place to communicate, and then you kind of say, "Hey, but we don't want to nudge how people communicate," that's irresponsible. And so when I
Yeah.
was there, we were just approaching 1 billion users, and our team was really interested in like what are the ethics and what are the positive nudges that we could offer without being, authoritative or dictating how people should behave. But there was crazy debates. Like people would debate for days about like that little bar where it says "What's on your mind." Like
Yeah.
that could be a triggering statement. There were subtle things like just changing what that says,
Yeah.
or having them be different prompts, to the not so subtle, which might be a TV commercial or a new way to roll something out on the platform. I
Mm.
mean, one of the other things I tried to get created there was, when you get invited to an event, could you list yourself as a designated driver? If you've got
Mhm.
billions of people on the platform, and just, just if 1% of the people who may have driven drunk don't, because they were able to get a ride and negotiate a ride through Facebook friend. But these things didn't happen there. These ideas were kind of like, they would take the ideas and they'd be like, "Thank you very much," and then who knows what they did with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what they did with them, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So was it weird?
If you were lucky, they would take something you made and they would test it in New Zealand. Like they would do a
Yeah.
test in New Zealand, because it's a small population and they're pretty isolated and they don't have a lot of ins and outs, so.
So was it weird for you when, like, during the 2016 election, there was all the stuff about like Cambridge Analytica and the role they played? Were you surprised by it, or could you have seen that coming?
I didn't see it coming, and wasn't aware of any of that stuff. But it stands to reason that if you have this insane database of information, that it's quite valuable to people who want to manipulate your thinking about reality. And if people are paying for that in rubles,
Hmm.
I think, yeah, someone should have been a little bit more focused on what's good for the common, what's working towards the common good here.
Yeah, because I feel like this whole not seeing the other feed and just like going more and more in your bubble. I messaged you about this, but there's this new social media app, Parler. And I
Yeah.
think that was like the next obvious step in it, where it's like people probably don't know this, but Parler is a new app that's basically like Twitter or Facebook, but it's only conservatives, or at least that's what they're trying to be. Uh, and it's just so funny because this is the
Must
same
be
people.
a dismally unfunny place.
Yeah, a very unfunny place, probably void of any real like art or like intellectual pursuits, but it's just so funny because it's the same people who are like, oh, do you need a safe space, you like little snowflake, and now they literally created their own safe space. And it's like, I started just saying liberal shit in there, which people can follow me at Max Marcus Comedy. um and someone said to me, he's like, what are you doing here, go back to Twitter. And it's like, I thought this was like, it's being presented as a place of free speech and free thought, and it's so obviously not that.
Of course, of course. It's
um
fascinating how you can package something, and
but I'm trying.
people believe the packaging.
Yeah. And it's so funny because like other social media you join, and it's like you join Instagram, and it's like, why don't you follow NASA to look at space photos, or like Nat Geo and look at like animals? You joined Parler, and it's like, why don't you follow Ted Cruz? And it's like, dude, it's like Ted Cruz and Sean Hannity are like their biggest names. It's so weird.
That's Dennis Miller must be over there, I imagine.
Probably. I imagine. But it's just like, I've been trying to just get comics on there. I've been trying to get like
You asked me to go on there, but I just thought it was going to make me more angry. I really don't want to be any more angry than I already am.
it might. It's just so interesting. I like well, that's the thing. I'm addicted to arguing with people on Facebook, like conservatives, and it's so dumb.
What are you doing with yourself? Come on.
Yeah,
Why do you do this with your energy?
it's just fun. I don't know. I like it. But then this becomes an app that's only that. So it's only, instead of like having to find the person through like the NPR comment section, it's now just like no matter, I just open the app and it's craziness. But I'm also trying to get it filled with like leftists and like transgendered communists. That's like, I'm really trying to flood it with
Well, can they have their little space? I
no.
just keep an eye on it.